Was that cheesy enough for you? Like, listen, I'm stepping it up, okay?
That was cool. Nah, that was dope.
I'm evolving. This is season 2. I'm like, some people that like started with me, like I was kind of like, okay, this is what I think I'm gonna do. I think now I'm like, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be great. We're gonna love it.
Yeah, there you go. No, that was awesome.
Yeah. So welcome everyone back to my 32 fan series, 32 different fans across the NFL, all 32 different teams. This is our third conversation, believe it or not. Yes. So like I always say, like anybody that like allows me to continue to bother them after the first time I've bothered them will always have a special place in my heart. So
you ain't bothering me. Listen, I enjoy coming on podcasts like yours and be able to really cut loose and talk about my fandom, because what I do daily is basically required of my job to talk about all 30 teams in good light. Like I have to talk about the Cardinals. They're in our division. I absolutely love Greg Dortch. I have to talk about the Seahawks because they had a really good draft. I love Elijah Arroyo. I love Jalen Milroe. So the 49ers, now that they don't have Jordan Mason anymore, I don't really have much to give them good light, but there is the slight, players over there with Jordan James, who I think is the upgrade for Jordan Mason, but it ain't much love over there for the 49ers. They are at the bottom of my boot at the end of the day.
I love it. No, I just think it's cool. I think also, too, we forget, like sometimes we do our jobs and we just do our things, but we forget like we're fans of more things. Like I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a Colorado fan. I'm a Texas fan. That's 100% accurate. I also want to hear about other people's teams and want to listen to other people's pain and listen
to other people's pain. Is crazy.
Yeah. Well, because like I'm whining right now about the Steelers, right? Because I'm like, we're so stagnant. We're so basic. We're so this. But we're also basic, like in a good way, right? Like I'm privileged in the sense that like, I don't know what it's like to have a losing season. I don't know what it's like to not win a Super Bowl. So, like sometimes I just need to shut up and be like, keep it moving, girl.
That is a great privilege because right now, as a Rams fan, I can at least say we have a Super Bowl in the last decade, because I was holding on to that 99 season, arguing with a whole bunch of people on the timeline and just arguing with my friends about it. But now, 2021, we are here with another ring, boy, and we're going to do it again this season.
Period. Okay. Well, let's get into it. So for people that aren't familiar with you, let them know just about you, whatever you want to share, and how long you've been a fan, because you were one of the original OGs as far as before they moved to Los Angeles. So
yeah, I mean, look, it's kind of crazy. Like when I was a kid, my first game that I watched was a Rams game, and then it happens to be, the greatest show on turf. So for a kid to get influenced, on the game of football, because soccer's my first love, but to have that game, to see how they were playing, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, like the list goes on. And then Adam Marshall on the defense and Ricky Little, like these guys were just studs. Like, I mean, you go back to the most iconic, moment of that season in the Super Bowl is the Mike Jones tackle. Like I was so inspired by that. I was telling folks at school, that was my uncle. Like we got the same last name. I'm out here lying like a kid. Like that's how much I fell in love with the game, and I fell in love with the Rams. So, as a kid from Jersey, it's like, how do you end up as a LA Rams fan, or even hold on to them when they pick up and leave to go to St. Louis and still be that loyal to it? Because that's just kind of like the draw and like the greatest show on turf. Like, just to be watching that and witnessing that, it's like I cannot see any other team that I could fall in love with.
I love that. You know what made me fall in love with football? This is so, I don't know if I've ever said this publicly. It shocked. I was amazed by how many grown men were so fascinated with the TV. Like it blew my mind. I was just like, as a kid, I remember being like, I'm like, y'all want beers and water? Like it blew my mind how fascinated people became with like just what was on the TV. And so it made me like investigate. And so I feel you. Like that's how I feel about football. Like people are always like, how do you? I'm like, I just love it. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't explain it. Like I love soccer. That's my first love because I played that. I was influenced by that. Manchester United, England, English Premier Football. You call it. Like I hate calling it soccer, but I call it soccer because here in the States we kind of have to be more open to other people's languages and understanding of their culture and stuff like that. But more so looking at it like with the Rams, they have that pop factor. Like it's LA. You know what I mean? Like, even when they
Yeah,
were in St.
true.
Louis,
Very
like,
true.
we had ballers there, even when we sucked. Like, this is still the same team that had Steven Jackson on the roster. This is still
Yeah,
Action
that's true.
Jackson. This is still a team that drafted Aaron Donald, like the GOAT. So it's like, of course, I'm going to stay with this team no matter where that. Like, the Rams could play in Japan. They could be the Japan Rams. I don't care. I am a Rams fan. They could be the New Zealand Rams. I don't care. I'm a Rams fan.
So I,
Like,
I
it's just
I get it.
sick.
I'm like that too. For better or for worse, like I'm locked in. So
We
I will
locked
say
in,
though,
yes.
I don't buy jerseys anymore though. That's the one thing I will not do. I will buy Pittsburgh, whatever, Texas. I'm not buying a jersey.
I'm
Nope,
about to
I'm
say
over it.
it's been kind of some issues over there in Pittsburgh buying jerseys. I mean, Pickens gone, Deontay
Not buying a
Johnson's
jersey.
gone, Najee Harris is gone. I mean,
Yeah, they're done.
the longevity of those is not looking good right now.
I agree. I agree. So let's talk about your last season. So the last time I talked to you was before the playoffs. You said that you
Yes.
all were going to beat the Vikings. And then you said, I think you even said you guys are going to beat whoever you play next. I think is kind of what you said along the lines of, because I think I
Yeah.
remember kind of being like, yes, that's the
We
spirit.
won. Yeah.
So yeah. So after the season was over, obviously the loss to the Eagles, the fumble, the snow, like we don't even need to rehash that. It is what it is. How
You
are
already
you
see my
feeling
face.
after? How are you feeling? I tried to kind of say it and then move. How are you feeling after the season was over about the whole 2024 season? Like, did that impact the way that you felt the season as a whole? Or how did you feel once the season ended? And then what song would you use to describe the Ravens?
So I kind of
The
feel like
Ravens.
how I felt in 2023. And I feel like it's more so like I told you we were the most dangerous team in the NFL. And we went out and proved that, because to start 3-6 last season and to end up 10-7 and to be in the playoffs, to win the wild card, to even get to that next level, to even face the champions, the Eagles, is one of those things. It's like, I keep telling y'all, and my face is serious when I say this, we're the most dangerous team in the NFL. Do not count us out. Stop writing Matthew Stafford off. So I feel exactly the same way today. Like, it's a little disappointment of how we went out. And mostly, like, it's just the media and like the outsiders and like even some of our Rams fans doubting our team. Like, yo, I'm telling y'all got to stop doing this. Like, Matthew Stafford's 37 years old. Is this it for you? Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you not watch him play football? He's still playing at an elite level. And like, I keep telling people, like, he should be in this top 5 conversation when we talk quarterbacks. And I say that not in totality, like we don't have to include Detroit, but look what he did in his first year. And that's what gives me hope every single year, no matter what happens during the season with injuries and adversity. All my hope is into our quarterback, because we never really had a quarterback that we had to put the game on their back. Like when you go back to golf, it was one of those things like where McVay's holding his hand until that clock comes off, where he can't really read the defenses, or he doesn't have that football IQ, or even have that heart to slide before the first down. It's like, what are you doing? Die for it. We need this first down. And that's exactly what Stafford gives us. He's a dog.
Yeah, that's true.
So the song I would theme these last 2 seasons is probably Nicki Minaj, like, Did It On Him. Like, told y'all, this is what we do. Like, y'all are our sons. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, it's like, I feel like we were not supposed to be there for the rest of the world, but as a Rams fan, yeah, we're supposed to be there. Like, this is normal. Like, back-to-back seasons, we weren't supposed to be in the playoffs, and guess what? We're in the playoffs.
But you know what it is? But I was just going to say that you said in our first conversation in the season you were like, okay, because the schedule had came out. We recorded after the schedule, and you're like, I just need to see how we are after the bye week. That was kind of your battle cry. You're like, I just want to see. But I think the other thing though that people don't realize is how much our recency biases and like what we can see impacts what we think of other teams. Yeah. Because doing this series, I feel like I do so much. Like, I've told you this before we hit record. Before I talk to anybody, I always watch their content. I didn't watch any of your content because I want like your raw reaction of what's going on. I don't want to know what you're going to say. But usually I'll just watch people's stuff just to kind of get a vibe and a feel for like who they are. Yeah. I find myself making sure that I can find everything I need to find on West Coast teams. I know a lot of things though about West Coast teams, but I think it's my psyche that makes me think I don't know. But then when I get in these conversations, I'm like, right. Yeah, I remember that play. Oh, right. Game 7. Like, so I know. And so I'm just wondering how much of that also impacts the fandom, because you don't ever hear about the Rams until you do,
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes it's like, well, no one's talking about us, so we probably aren't very good. And that's not true.
Nah. Like, as a Rams fan, a little bit of what you're speaking about is go back to the Jeff Fisher era. We were terrible. But I would still say, look, we got a top 10 defense. Greg Williams' defense is the best in the trenches. And I really feel like with that fandom, like, you might get in your head like nobody's talking about us, but it doesn't matter if nobody's talking about us, because when it matters, we show up.
Yeah.
And like, even with a bad Jeff Fisher team, everybody's writing us off against Peyton Manning and the Broncos back then. And it's like, oh, we won because we have a top 10 defense. Like, we have a pretty good defense. Like, these are the things that, as a diehard Rams fan, that sometimes, you might get in your psyche like, man, is this what this is? Because you could take me back to the 22 season where Stafford was hurt, Cup was banged up, our O-line wasn't great. Like, okay, that was the dark times because things were just misaligned, but I still had hope that we could bounce back. But then look at 2023. We go 10-7. We win 10 games, go to the playoffs. I mean, that Lions game was a different beast. We weren't completely, I would say, ready for this rebirth of this Lions offense. But again, even when you go back to the next season, last season, week 1, we almost beat them again. But there's the things that, internally that we need to fix with injuries and guys stepping up with depth. But I have no doubt in my head about this team moving forward with McVay on the sticks, with Stafford and Les Snead working the draft the way he does every single year.
Okay, I respect it. So a season ends, off season starts. I feel like almost immediately, when I say off-season starts, for those people that might be new to the NFL, because there's going to be a lot of new NFL fans because of Shador this year, I feel like. Yeah. But for those people that don't know, usually what happens is the Super Bowl happens, and then as soon as free agency, probably like a week before free agency starts, I feel like that's when I consider like the new season about to kick off, because it usually dies down and it's quiet. But what happened this year is like the Cooper Kupp news started to come out. You all made obviously a big splash move in wide receiver. So like there's a lot of moving parts happening with you all. How are you feeling between seasons ending, now the new season starting, right? Because all the free agency is about to start. Like, how are you feeling you all did in free agency? How are you feeling losing Kupp, but then gaining? Like, what were your thoughts as you were working through like this offseason?
I got to tell you what, I appreciated that we pick up, and grab the ball and get back to work, because we could be the Cowboys and make no moves or no splashes or entertaining. Like, I've been there where it's like, why doesn't anybody want to play in St. Louis? Well, because it's St. Louis and Jeff Fisher's your coach. So it's one of those things, like our biggest splash was Kenny Britt. And I'm like, yay. Like, but again, I feel like you have to appreciate this squad, because it's like, all right, we took that L. Let's get back to work. We got to get back to that big dance. Like, we got to get back to being the most lethal team in the NFL. And when we let go of Kupp, it was more so of like, it's business. And I kind of see and understand why. Fair. Him not being available, like McVay's playbook, I honestly think only functions on a high level when everybody is healthy. He doesn't have the depth to step up for that missing talent when Cooper Kupp is not available. And it's been back-to-back seasons, it's been kind of the same thing. He's banged up, not playing to his full potential. And it's one of those things where you love the guy, you love the player, you love the person, but it's hurting our team. So like,
right. I can that production.
Exactly. I can remove like my personal feelings for Kupp. I love Cooper Kupp. I wanted him to retire Ram. Like, I think he's a Hall of Famer wide receiver, but then some would say like, no, I mean, the short span and then the injuries, no, like the Triple Crown happened, but we need consistency throughout the seasons, and like throughout the years. And I just feel as though, you have to remove your fandom, personal feelings, and understand like, hey, this is a business, but I do appreciate us replacing him with somebody up to par, or if not higher, with a Devontae Adams who's hungry, motivated, playing with a chip on his shoulder, one of the best route runners in the NFL, going to fill a hole in need that we need on this offense, which is the red zone, which we struggled with last season and the season before that because of Kupp missing. So we have a backup plan as well with Puka. He's starting to build up somewhat of a, injury history, not saying he's injured.
I noticed that. Yeah.
It's one of those things that you have to be mindful of, that we need somebody that's going to be able to take this ship and man it, because Adams has been at one on multiple teams for the Raiders, for the Packers. He had to share that role with Garrett Wilson in New York, but more so, he still was able to be capable to be the alpha of the offense. Now we have two alphas on the perimeter, giving defensive coordinators nightmares and trauma on that Saturday night preparing for us, because it's more so of like, okay, we got an elite force now, and we have Matthew Stafford, who's an elite quarterback, to be able to have this functioning operation of this offense to be one of the best in the NFL.
I love that. I love that. And I know before we talked a little bit about Jordan Whittington. So I wanted to just mention him before we go on to the draft. I love Jay Witt. I will always love Jay Witt. I don't care. Well, you know what I mean. In respectful terms. Like, as I say, I don't care what he ever does. No, that's not true. But I love like what he brings to a football team, a football program. And I've loved every single thing that he brought to Texas. So what are your thoughts now with the quarterback room, with the receiver room, the way that it is with him? And he's probably going to have to work, and he's going to have to earn a lot of things this year. But how do you feel about him? And, what do the fans think about him?
So I feel like Little Whit, I would say, because he's not Big Whit because of Andrew Whitworth, but Little Whit, I do feel like he has an opportunity this year to make some noise. And I think we'll know by summer, like when we start hearing reports and like the beat writers get out there of like progress of like, I would say the wide receiver core as a whole, because we still have Tutu there. We just went to the draft and got Kanate Mumpfield, which is one of the most underrated draft picks we got. We'll get into him next, but more so looking at Little Whit, he has an opportunity to fill that slot role. Like, I know he's a little bit better to play what Puka, like the backup where Puka is playing on the field as the Z or the X or whatever the case may be, but he has some versatility to him where I could see him working his way to get on the field and make some big plays for us. Like, I know McVay wants to utilize Tutu Atwell more this season. I mean, he made that address to the public like, hey, Tutu's back. I feel as though I kind of let him down and not use him as much as he could, because the guy has a second round draft capital, and we've seen him show flashes but nothing consistent. So there's a little roadblock there for him to consistently get on the field, because it's like there might be a rotation at that wide receiver 3 spot. And also, which we'll get into the draft, there might be changes on the personnel on the offense, being that with the new additions that we got through the draft as well.
Well, let's get to the draft. So what were your overall thoughts about the draft? And what was like your favorite pick where you were like, yes, absolutely, this is fantastic? And then did you have a pick where you kind of were like, oh, I trust McVay?
Listen, every year, like since 2017, I would say 2017 was the last time I questioned what was going on, just because it's new, like who's this new guy in town, and let's need, we know what he's about. Like, how is this going to mesh? But ever since then, I haven't questioned anything. I've accepted everything and understood, like, hey, we're getting these certain players because they're going to fill certain holes. Like, even with the Tutu Atwell pick, we go back to him to be in the second round pick. You're kind of like, what? Why? But then you see the vision of what he wants. Like, we couldn't have that with Tavon Austin, because Tavon was still there in 2017 when McVay came in. So it was one of those things like, we can't get the deep field stretcher. We can't get the guy that can have people threatening on the back end. And Tutu stepped up huge for us last season when Puka and Cooper Kupp stepped down. So shout out to him to earning that contract. But this draft, I was just like floored, because one, we have 2 first-round picks next year. So that was my favorite move of the draft.
I'm so excited for this, because I seriously have been avoiding your stuff, because I'm like, I'm gonna know what he thinks before he says it. So so you really were like, this is fantastic. This is everything. I do not
care for first round picks anymore, because I know and trust what they got going on, and for them to flip our first round pick for another first round pick next year and still get the guy that we were looking for in Terrence Ferguson, the tight end. It's like, oh, we are cooking again. Like, how they let us get 2 first-round picks next year? Like, we have a backup plan on a backup plan to fill a hole that we obviously need in developing a backup quarterback for when Stafford rides off into sunset. And again, I think Stafford's going to be to us more than the 2 years that is agreed on the contract, because again, this guy is still playing at elite level. There's nothing that I see falling off from him. Like, he's not playing like a Jimmy G, who's the current backup right now. So it's like, kill all that noise. So we have a backup plan on a backup plan. So that was my favorite move in the draft, of them flipping that into getting 2 first-round picks next year.
I like it. Yeah. Who was that? Was it the Falcons, I guess?
Yes.
That came up and got, what did they get? The guy from Tennessee?
Yes, they went and got James Pierce, I
and
believe.
they
But their
needed him.
pass rush is going to be phenomenal this year.
They needed him.
Oh my God, they needed him bad. Like they ended up getting 2 dogs. They're going to be able to rush the quarterback this year. So shout out to them and Raheem Morris, big Jersey.
Because Raheem Morris came from you all.
Yeah, it came from the Rams.
It's a small world how like all of these people really came. Like, it's like it's all the same circle, but then sometimes you get the random person where you're like, where he come? I like his style. So I like that. So so I see what's happening here. You feel very good about the Rams. You feel very high on them. You feel like they did what they needed to do in the draft. After last year, I think, to be fair, I think most fans trust their organization when they trust their organization.
No,
right?
They don't. I've seen some folks especially your Steelers.
Reasonable. See, here's the thing. I'm always talking about reasonable, level-headed people.
Got you.
I'm never talking about the extremes.
Percentage of the fan base, by the way.
I'm talking about the normal, sane people that will not fight somebody if they go to a ballpark and somebody says something crazy. Those are the people. But I think it helps when you have a coach that you trust, because you're like, okay, I see what they're doing. I see their vision, and you guys are winning. Winning helps. So what is your expectation for the season then? So I know you all are contenders. Do you care? Are you one of those guys that cares about like winning the division? Do you just care about getting in the playoffs? Like, how do you usually look at that when it comes to division stuff?
Well, division is very important to me, because if we could stomp out the 49ers twice a year, every year, then, that's a win in my heart, even if we don't make the playoffs. But obviously the goal is to get in the playoffs, make some noise, win some games, and bring home another ring. So like both are very important to me, because like if we win the division, 49ers fans can't say anything to the Rams. No matter if we go to the playoffs or not. Y'all didn't win the division. Y'all suck. Even if we are first round knockout, y'all suck. But it's more so of like the division is more prideful in-house within those 4 teams that I can go online and just bash them. Like, look at the season y'all had. Like y'all proud of that? Like, this is the product y'all putting on the field? Like, y'all watched that and cheered? Like, y'all paid tickets to go to that game? Like, that's just how I'm coming if we ain't going to the playoffs or we lost. You know what I mean?
Does anybody in that division like the 49ers?
Probably not, because I've seen some Seahawks fans go a lot of kind of go hard on them, and like
I don't think anybody in that division likes the 49ers.
Oh, it's their fan base, man. And there's only a few people that I like and respect that are 49ers, because they're not as crazy as them. They're part of that small percentage that me and you was just talking about.
Got it. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense, because I don't really, that's not my thing. So what position group or player do you feel like is the most undervalued or underappreciated, or just the person that like people don't often talk about, but he's an integral piece of how the Rams go? Like, what happens with the team?
Now, this might be a collective group here with the offensive line, because like,
I
feel like, when guys are healthy, you know what I mean? Like, we always blanket talk about the offensive line and not really single out players, but Kevin Dotson, K-Dot.
Of course, it comes from the Steelers.
Oh, no. Yeah, your guy. Yeah, you know. He is a dog. I should never let him go. But
don't even get me started.
He is one of the most physical guys in the trenches, and you just root for the guy when you see Kyron breaking off, and he's going up to the second level in that Eagles game and just knocking heads off. Like, that's the type of energy I need in the trenches. Like, I need you to act as if you're on the D line and go out there and knock somebody's head off. But I don't think K-Dot gets enough love outside of the Rams fandom. Like, when people watch the game, they just say the O-line. Like, no, start saying these dudes' names. Like, Steve Avila, he's a physical beast as well. He's still young in his development, but he's going to be a problem once everything is in order. And once we get all our guys healthy, and like, shout out to Bo Limmer. I mean, he's our backup because we got Colton Shelton back in the building, which is a huge plus, because he's more so very comfortable with Matthew Stafford and like keeping things calm if guys are going to be injured or out of sync. Like, he's one of the headpieces of like that can communicate the best with Stafford. So it's great to have him back. And then it's also great for Bo Limmer to play the way he did last season as well, to show that we have a strong depth at that position. So shout out to the entire O-line, man. Like, it's just one of those untalked about things about when you talk about the Rams, like Puka, Cooper, Stafford, blah, blah, blah. And then the defense of, high praise for the defense. Jared Verse, Byron Young, Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk. Like, I haven't seen the trenches this like crazy since back in the St. Louis days where we had Aaron Donald, Robert Quinn,
Oh,
Chris
that's
Paul,
fun.
and Michael Brockers on the line. Like, we haven't been this threatening since then. So it's like, whoa, now what we doing?
Okay.
We building.
I like it.
We building.
So then what's a hot take about your team that other fans might not agree with you about?
A hot take, I would say, when you do power rankings of the NFC, you better have the Rams in top 3. And I say that strongly because obviously you're going to have the Eagles up there, but I don't agree that the Eagles are a better team than us. I feel like we beat ourselves in both of those games. And I feel like obviously Saquon having a historical run, breaking records on us and et cetera, et cetera. But it's one of those things, if you watch the game closely, I hate to be that guy. Take away those runs, we were controlling Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts couldn't do anything. A.J. Brown wasn't like a real threat. And even if they were a threat, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, our secondary is very disciplined. They're able to get takeaways, but they're able to let the trenches work. With constant pressure on Jalen Hurts, you kind of take away that factor of them putting up all those points. But then you look at what Saquon's able to do. We were just unprepared. I do not think, hands down, from head to toe on 3 phases of the ball, special teams, defense, offense, they are not a better team than us.
I will be honest with you. This is like a conversation I would have with somebody, a SEC versus Big Ten, and whomever makes a better argument is going to win the case, because you could go either way.
Yeah.
But I think the thing about the Eagles that makes them who they are is that they have the Saquon Barkley factor, and then when you flip on that defense, you have the defensive line factor, and so it's like. Yeah. So
the thing, I ain't scared of the D-line.
But even you say top 3. I mean, I think if you say top 3, I mean, I think I would put the Eagles, the Rams. I don't know who I would put at 3.
That's the thing. 3 is a rotational door. You could put.
That's what I'm saying. So
you better have the Rams in that conversation if you want to put them at 3.
What you're saying. Yeah, what you're saying, I actually think I agree with. And just based off what I saw last year, right? This year, we'll see. Like, at the end of the day, when I look at good teams, the first thing I look at is their offensive line, and the second thing I look at is their defensive line. Because to me, it doesn't matter if you have the best receivers on the planet. If your O-line, well, we saw Shador play. Like, if your O-line can't do anything, it doesn't matter who's out there. You don't have time. It doesn't matter. So, anyways, and my Steelers. Anyways, I'll move past it because I'm about to get triggered. So, if you were GM for one day, what would be the first move you would make for your Rams?
Ooh, if I was GM for one day, first move I would do, I would be calling Aaron Donald's phone to see if he wants to come out of retirement to help him get another ring. I got to be honest, like, to add him to madness. Okay. Yes,
because he's not old. How old is he? 32?
He ain't old. That boy is made in the lab. He is still a gorilla out in these streets. He's
young.
He's still ready to go. Like, to retire at 30 and be out, like, that's the goal for everybody. But he is still in top shape.
He's 33. So it's like, his birthday is in 2 weeks.
Oh, happy birthday! But more so, it's like, come back outside, man. Just, you're missing some of the fun. Like, come on, I'll pay you whatever you want. Just come back outside just for a couple games. Like, come back in week 14 when we already hot and everything's going. We going to come back and just help us get that push to the super, because I know he could still tear it up in the trenches. Like, that would literally be my first move.
Okay, I like it. I like it. And honestly, if nobody has done that yet, I have an actual question about the way the Rams are running right now. I would reach out to him all the time. Why not? What's he going to tell you? No?
I would harass
him. Right.
What's he going to say? No? I'll ask him tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
I'll ask him tomorrow. Next week.
All right. I'll message you again at 5. Say less. So, all right. So those are all like the basic questions that I have. So now I did kind of like an overtime round. There's 4 questions. It was supposed to be like, to get a touchdown, you need 4 thing, and then whatever. Every time I say that, it's so cheesy, but I love the questions.
Cheesy's good.
It makes it all better. So it's kind of like a speed round. So And I think I do it speed round because it's like, I don't want you to think about it too hard because you might change your answer. So, so the first question is, and I think I know, who is your biggest division rival that you love to hate the most and why?
49ers. I want to see them do bad every single time. I hope nothing but destruction and failure for them.
Okay. If you could change one thing about your franchise, ownership, stadium, uniforms, location, anything, what would you change?
Kick the Chargers out of our stadium. We don't need to be sharing LA with them. Send them back to San Diego. That's it.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
If you could swap one player from your team with one player from your rival, who would you pick and why?
Oof. Kyron Williams and Christian McCaffrey. Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
He's the best out of that division, I would say, at running back. So yeah.
You wouldn't want Fred Warner?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't want Fred Warner because I feel like that would just be a one piece on the defense rather than a dynamic in the running game and the passing.
Okay. Okay. I respect it. And then describe your team's fan base in 3 words.
The best. I mean, the best to ever do it. I mean, that's 4.
How can we get down to 3?
Best to ever do.
Best
Best to ever do
it. The best ever.
The best ever. There you go.
Best ever.
There you go.
The best ever do. That's hilarious. Okay. Well, that's. I cannot. No, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm terrible at that game.
That's hilarious. Anyways, but those are all the questions that I had for you. Now I'm red because I'm laughing so hard. That is so funny. It's funny how we try to like make it fit. So we just start cutting things out and it doesn't matter what it sounds like. We're just going to cut it out and it's going to fit. That's awesome. So I like to end on you. So anything you want to share that maybe we didn't talk about that you're thinking about that's on your mind. Obviously, you know, by now I'll put all your information in the description as well and all the things. But is there anything that you just want people to know about the Rams or just, I don't know, anything?
Well, I'm trying to hit more content this year on the Rams Recap podcast where I get to really just cut loose. It's my show. I get to talk Rams. I can really do whatever I want, bring guests on and just kind of cut loose. Like that's kind of what I want to ramp up to maybe twice a week, you know, coming, I would say closer to training camp. So definitely check me out over there and really just get to hang out, you know. And
do I have that
link? You can get it linked.
Okay. Yeah. You can get a link. Okay. Yeah, so send it over to me. I'll definitely put it in the comment section. But yes, more of your content. I obviously follow you on Twitter and I love it. Like I love people who have opinions. I've realized I like people who have opinions. Even if I don't agree with the opinion, I like the opinion. And then let's like talk about it for like a little bit and then let's just move on.
Move on. That's all. Tell out the 49ers fans. You guys suck.
Oh, gosh.
That's my opinion. Now let's move on.
Listen, I like Fred Warner, so Brock Purdy gets on my nerves, but I like Fred Warner. So
he has a connection with Pooh. You know, we call him Pooh. I mean, what's his name? Dang. I just forgot it. It's like Pooh something. Chris Paul. There it is. Paul. Okay. That's what it is. Paul Jr., linebacker out of Ole Miss. So basically, they took pictures together, been training together. So he has a lot of familiarity with Fred Warner's game. So I definitely think, you know, he's a guy that I would love to see, you know, really grow into be a Fred Warner for us.
Yeah, I love that. Him and Trent Williams. They will. I don't care. They're those.
Yeah.
How do you not like Trent Williams?
Because he wears a 49ers jersey, but
yeah, like outside of that, like anyways, he's just one of those guys. But I appreciate you as always. Thank you for joining me. And I will talk to you anytime I get to about the Rams. So you just look forward to me reaching out anytime I have something that I want to do.
Awesome.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.